say anything, but when you got up, I just couldn't forget. Gosh, I don't know how many years ago we went to visit Jay and my son John in Dallas, and Randy Brink. They were in college together, and I think Iris and I went up to the room. And if you've ever seen a room that was 2 feet high, there wasn't a space to put your foot in it. It had been raining and it was muddy, and it had a good cover of mud on it. But I don't think Iris will ever forget that day, Jay, because she never had seen anything exactly like that. Gary, I think Jeff Evans had a real good comment a minute ago. He said he was sure glad to find out you weren't in training to be a music minister. Miss Roberts asked me the other day if I would speak for a few minutes, and she indicated that she wanted a mature father to speak. Did you ever stop to think how words mean different things at different stages in your life? You know, for a long time, I wanted people to think of me as a mature person, having wisdom and all the good things that maturity brings. And now that I'm pushing 60, I'm not sure I want people to think of me as a mature person at all, because it just means I'm getting older. I was thinking about that. Just as words have a different meaning as we pass through different stages of life, father-son relationship changes as we go through different phases. It did in my family, and I bet it did in yours. If I go to the beginning, when John Andrew was born, I think I've heard many of you say that John was always late for meetings. He came by that characteristic honestly. He was late for the very first meeting he ever had. We forgave him, however. And I guess the imprint of my nose is on the county, on the glass of the county. Well, I don't know the name now. It used to be County Memorial Hospital. My nose is there 3 places in that hospital. But you know, you used to go look at him. Look through the glass and you think, boy, how would I like to get that kid and hold him? All you can do is look through the glass. You can't feel him or touch him or that kind of thing. You say, I'd really like to have him for a little while. And you know, when we took him out of the hospital, the feeling I had when I got home changed completely. His head wobbled around a little bit. He looked real tiny and he looked real helpless. And I felt, I think, like every first-time father feels, and that is that it's a very awesome responsibility to be a father. And I didn't know whether I was ready for that. And then you look and you feel frightened. And then you pick them up for the first time. And you talk to them. You ever hear them just listen real intently? A little child just listen real, you can see them listen, so to speak, when you talk to them. It's really a nice feeling. And when you talk to him that way, when I talked to him, I knew he was soaking up everything I said. He was learning a lot of different things. And I could have probably used another line with that, but I won't.
Thank you.
Fathers go through different phases, however, and the late 20s, early 30s, I think is kind of a difficult time for fathers in general. I spent a lot of evenings nursing computer programs and trying to improve my status in the office so I could support my family. When I got home, my mood wasn't always the best in the world. John also entered a new phase. Neil and Gary had arrived. he had to share attention with them. So both of us were in a new phase. And sometimes this kind of thing would happen at our house. I'd be thinking about a real difficult problem that I had at the office, just how I was going to deal with somebody the next day. Just as I was about to get to the punchline, one of the kids would wander in and do something to get my attention. In many cases, I'd deliver the punchline meant for the office to the child. You remember the old verse, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, and that really applied to me. And that happened a few times to me, and I'm sorry for it. I think it was kind of hard for John and Gary and Neil to honor their father in those circumstances, because I suspect that every father out there has gone through that stage at one time or another. I finally learned to recognize when this happened. I didn't stop it completely, but I did recognize it. When I recognized it, I apologized to my kids. I went off the handle and I shouldn't have gone. And that kind of cleared the air, and I hope maybe that the young people in this audience don't make the same mistake that I did. Don't ever take the office home, Brad. It's the office at the office.